Miguel says. We're Latinos. At his new school, he has told his classmates the same thing. Back in New York, lots of other kids looked like him. Some people even thought he and his best friend Jose were brothers. But here in Vermont, his black hair and brown skin stand out. He feels so different from everybody. Are you Indian? One kid asked him, impressed. Another asked if his color wears out like a tan. He hasn't made one friend in 3 weeks. I didn't say to pretend we're Chinese, his mother sighs. Just to pretend that you're at a Chinese restaurant. She suddenly looks as if she's going to cry. Miguel shoves his can of chips over to Juanita, anything to avoid his mother bursting into tears again. She's staring down at her bowl, as if she had forgotten it was there underneath her food the whole time. From that blue bowl, Miguel's mother and father fed each other spoonfuls of cake the day they got married. There's a picture of that moment in the white album in the box marked Album's Attic. That mother says they might unpack sometime later in the distant future, maybe. Juanita must have also noticed how sad Mommy looks. She begins asking questions about Tia Lola because it makes her mother happy to talk about her favorite aunt back on the island where she was born. How old is she, Mommy? Who? Tia Lola, Mommy. Tia Lola que viene mañana, Juanita says in Spanish. It also makes their mother happy when they use Spanish words. Tia for aunt, mañana for tomorrow. Tia Lola, who comes tomorrow. Is she real old? Actually, nobody knows how old Tia Lola is. She won't tell, their mother says. She is smiling again. Her eyes have a faraway look. She's so young at heart, it doesn't matter. She'll be fun to have around. Is she married? Juanita asked. Mommy has told them they have lots of cousins back on the island. But are any of them Tia Lola's kids? I'm afraid Tia Lola never did get married, Mommy sighs. But kids, do me a favor. Just don't ask her about it, okay? Why not? Juanita wants to know. It's a sensitive issue, her mother explains. Juanita is making her I don't understand this math problem face. But why didn't she get married? Miguel speaks up before his mother can answer. He doesn't know how the thought has popped into his head, but it suddenly pops out of his mouth before he can stop it. She didn't get married so she wouldn't have to get divorced ever. Mommy blinks back tears. She stands up quickly and leaves the room. Miguel studies the beans pictured on the outside of the can his mother has picked for dinner. One little bean has on a Mexican hat. You made Mommy cry, Juanita blubbers tearfully and follows their mother out of the room. Miguel finds himself alone in a drafty kitchen with all the dirty bowls and plates to wash and the table to wipe. As he cleans up at the sink, he glances out the window at the frosty world outside. Up in the sky, the moon is just the tiniest silver sliver. It looks as if someone has gobbled up most of it and left behind only this bit of light for Miguel to see by. For the first time since he heard the news, he is glad his aunt is arriving tomorrow. It might be nice to have a fourth person who is still talking to him in the house, even if her name is Tia Lola. The next morning at the airport, Miguel's mother cannot find a parking space. You kids go in so we don't miss your aunt. I'll join you as soon as I find a spot. I'll help you, Miguel offers. Miguel, amor, how can you help me? You don't have a license. The cops will take you in if they catch you driving, his mother teases. As nervous as Miguel is feeling about his aunt's visit and his new school and their move to Vermont, he thinks he wouldn't mind spending the next year all by himself in jail. Por favor, honey, would you go inside with your sister and look for Tia Lola? His mother's sweetened up voice is like a handful of chocolate chips from the package in the closet. Impossible to resist. Los quiero mucho, she calls out to both children as they clamber out of the car. Love you too, Juanita calls back. The crowd swarms around them in the small but busy terminal. Juanita slips her hand into Miguel's. She looks scared, as if all that Spanish she had been showing off to their mother has just left on a plane to South America. You think we'll recognize her? She asks. We'll wait until somebody who looks like she's looking for us comes off the plane, Miguel says. He sure wishes his mother would hurry up and find a parking spot. Several businessmen rush by, checking their watches as if they are already late for whatever they have come for. Behind them, a grandma puts down her shopping bag full of presents, and two little boys run forward and throw their arms around her. A young guy turns in a slow circle as if he's gotten off at the wrong stop. A girl hugs her boyfriend, who kisses her on the lips. Miguel looks away. Where is this aunt of theirs? The crowd disperses, and still their aunt is nowhere in sight. Miguel and Juanita go up to the counter and ask the lady working there to please page their aunt. She doesn't know any English, Miguel explains, only Spanish. The woman in the blue suit has so many freckles, it looks as if someone has spilled a whole bag of them on her face. I'm sorry, kids. I took a little Spanish back in high school, but that was ages ago. I'll tell you what, I'll let you page your aunt yourself. She'll do it? Miguel nudges his sister forward. Even though he's older, Juanita is the one who is always showing off her Spanish to their father and mother. Juanita shakes her head. She looks scared. She looks about to cry. There's nothing to be scared of, Miguel encourages, as if he himself has paged his aunt every day of his life. That's right, sweetie, the woman agrees, nodding at Juanita. But Juanita won't budge. Then, turning to Miguel, the aunt suggests, seeing as she's scared, why don't you do it instead? I don't speak Spanish. It isn't technically a lie because he doesn't know enough to speak Spanish in public to a whole airport terminal. You do too, Juanita sniffles. He knows, but he doesn't like to talk it, she explains to the airline lady. Just give it a try, the freckled lady says, opening a little gate so they can come behind the counter to an office on the other side. A man with a bald head and a tired face and earphones sits at a desk turning dials on a machine. The lady explains that the children need to page a lost aunt who doesn't speak any English. Come here, son, the man beckons to Miguel. Speak right into this microphone. Testing, testing. He tries it out. The man adjusts some knobs and pushes his chair over so Miguel can stand beside him. Miguel looks down at the microphone. He can feel his stomach getting queasy and his mind going blank. All he can remember of his Spanish is Tia Lola's name and the word for hello. Hola, Tia Lola, Miguel says into the microphone. Then suddenly, the corny words his mother says every night when she tucks him into bed, the ones she has just called out when he and Juanita climbed out of the car, pop out. Te quiero mucho. Juanita's looking at him, surprised. Miguel scowls back. It's the only thing I remember, he mutters. With all the stuff popping out these days, he's going to have to get a break for his mouth. I remember more, Juanita boasts. She steps forward, her fears forgotten, and speaks into the microphone. Hola, Tia Lola, she says in a bright voice, as if she's on TV announcing sunny weather tomorrow. Te esperamos por el mostrador. She and Miguel will be waiting by the counter. Te quiero mucho, she closes just as Miguel has done. I love you lots. As Miguel and his sister walk out of the office, they hear a tremendous shout. It isn't a shout in Spanish, and it isn't a shout in English. It's a shout anyone anywhere would understand. Someone is mighty pleased to see you. On the other side of the counter stands her Aunt Lola. You can't miss her. Her skin is the same soft brown color as theirs. Her black hair is piled up in a bun on her head with a pink hibiscus on top. She wears bright red lipstick, and above her lips she has a big black beauty mark. On her colorful summer dress, parrots fly toward palm trees and flowers look ready to burst from the fabric, as if they only can figure out how. Behind her aunt, their mother is approaching in her hiking boots and navy blue parka, her red hat and mittens. Tia Lola, she cries out. They hug and kiss and hug again. When Tia Lola pulls away, the beauty mark above her upper lip is gone. Those two, Tia Lola is saying in Spanish to Miguel's mother as she points to him and Juanita. Those two gave me my first welcome to this country. Ay, Juanita. Ay, Miguel. She spreads her arms for her niece and nephew. Los quiero mucho. It's a voice impossible to resist, like 3 handfuls of chocolate chips from the package in the closet, a can of Pringles, and his favorite SpaghettiOs all to himself. For the moment, Miguel forgets the recent move, his poppy, and his friends left behind in New York. When Tia Lola wraps her arms around him, he hugs back just as hard as he can.